Hi, Algebra 2 students. We're going to talk about rational exponents. We're going to be able to simplify expressions in exponential or radical form. We're just going to focus on rational exponents and simplifying those first. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this right here, and we've talked about this in the last section, that the index is always going to be your denominator. You can write it as a fraction. So if we want to write these in radical form, this would be radical form, this is exponential form. So here, what the rule says is that the denominator always goes outside, is your index. So this would be the 6th root of x to the first, but we don't have to write the 1 there. So what about this one? How do you think you'd write this one? Here's your denominator, comes to the outside. So 4d to the 4th root of d to the 7th. Now what about the other way around? So your index is always going to be your denominator. So this would be c negative to the negative 5/3 power. And here we have an 8 as your index, so that's going to be your denominator, a 1 right here, so it's going to be r to the 1/8. So that's how we write it in radical form and exponential form. So here's a rule. You might want to pause the video and write this down on rational exponents. The big takeaway is this right here. Okay, numerator stays inside the radical, denominator comes out to be the index. And here are some restrictions, I guess. Except when b is less than 0 and y is even, then you're going to get a complex root. You're going to have I involved. That's what that means. You're going to have I involved. So here's some examples. Again, this means you're going to have the cube root of 27 squared, so it's going to be 3 squared. This one you're going to have the square root of negative 16 cubed. So let's practice this. So here's the first one. The denominator is going to be our index. So we're going to have the cube root of 125, that quantity squared. And so we take the cube root of 125, and that's going to be 5, so it's 5 squared. My answer is 25. And, oh here, I guess I should have highlighted this part up here too, because it means the same thing. There we go. So that's our main takeaway. There we go. Okay, same thing here. With the negative exponent, that means it gets moved to the denominator. So we're going to rewrite this as 1 over 32 to the 1/5. So it's going to be 1 over. The denominator comes to the outside. I kind of like to think of a bottom out, BO, bottom out. So 32, what's the 5th root of 32? Is 2. So we have 1/2. So what this is saying is we have 24 divided by, bottom out here, the square root, so it's going to be the square root of 4 to the 3rd. And you can write it any way you want, like this, if you want. So it's going to be 24 over the square root of 64. So it's going to be 24 over 8. And the answer is 3. All right. Next one. Simplifying expressions with rational exponents, same rules apply. When you're multiplying, you add the exponents here. So we're going to take a to the 2/7 plus 4/7. This is an easy one because it has common denominators. Sometimes you might have to get common denominators. So it's going to end up being a to the 6/7 for this one. This one here, negative exponent, so we're going to write it. The reciprocal right here, we're going to bring it to the bottom. Oops, and it's a positive. There we go. Can't have a rational exponent in the denominator because that means there's a radical in the denominator. So what do I need to multiply by to get it to be a whole number? So we want it to be 6/6, so we're going to times by b to the 1/6 on top and on bottom, because 5/6 plus 1/6 is going to be 6/6. So that's going to end up being b, 6/6, which is just b. And then 1 times b to the 1/6 is just b to the 1/6. And that would be your final answer. So takeaways from this lesson, again, would be this right here. You can write it any way. As you can see for this one, I did this version here. This one, I went ahead and did this right here. It ends up being the same thing, however you want to write it. And you're going to find out quickly that you can put these in your calculator. 125 caret 2 divided by 3, and you're going to get this. The calculator can do it for you. So one thing to think about there as well, to use your calculator as a resource. All right, that's all I have for you. Have a great day.